In this episode of the podcast, we talk to Wahyu Mahendra. Wahyu is a content creator, ex-photographer turned into content creator. And it was really interesting to hear that transition through his career. He's very successful at it. It's got a lot of following, and he works with a lot of big brands and clients around the world. He's also locally born, so it was really interesting to hear that side of the culture and how that impacts his creative pathway and photography in general. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. Wahyu, welcome to the Mood Podcast. It's
thank you for the invitation, though.
So we met at the studio launch party. What was that? That was about a month. A couple of weeks ago. Yeah, a month ago.
A few weeks ago.
It was really nice to meet you, and immediately I sensed that you were easy to connect with and to talk to. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to have you on here. And of course, you're an amazing photographer. So let's talk about that a little bit. Give everyone an introduction of yourself, who you are, what you do, specifically what you specialize in, your background, where you're from, and everything.
Well, thank you. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for the invitation. It was great to meet you again, man. It was like a few weeks ago, right? The moment that we just met up for the first time. So classic and basic things, of course, in the beginning. Yeah. My name is Wahyu. I'm
Wahyu.
W-A-H-Y-U.
Yeah, I know. It's like Wahyu. I'm learning.
Just call me you. It's easier. It's easier.
All right, you.
You for foreigners.
Okay.
You know. Yeah, I'm basically like I'm calling myself as a content creator.
Okay.
Yeah, like few years ago, I was calling myself as a photographer, but nowadays because I'm working a lot with brands, so like more like to creating content, like do photography stuff for the brand, and also like have like some business ongoing, like restaurants and money changer, you know. So that's pretty much I'm doing recently. Yeah.
What came first? Photography?
Pardon?
What came first out of, because I know that you're an entrepreneur as much as a content creator. You work with different brands and companies. Also, you love just to do photography. So what did you start in? What was your first kind of passion and job essentially?
This actually started like when I was a kid. So like I love like seeing. I used to love until now actually. I love seeing like beautiful photos, beautiful visuals. Doesn't need to be like photography, any kind of visuals, on magazines, on computer. And my dad, in 1998, like my dad brought the first computer. He brought it to our house, and I was like, there was some pictures on it, like the wallpaper.
Oh yeah. What computer was it? This is 98.
Yeah,
so it was like a Microsoft Windows type thing.
Long time ago.
MS-DOS.
Exactly.
Okay. And so how old were you at this time?
3 or 4 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're so young.
I know.
So you were born in 94?
95.
Oh, okay, no, okay. All right. Anyway, carry on. So your dad brought a computer home.
Yeah. And then like that time I was like, wow, the picture is so beautiful. I still remember the photos actually. Like I think like photo like landscape from the mountain, the green hills, and like the blue skies.
Yep.
Yeah, was taken in US, I guess. And then from that time, I just like love seeing like visuals, like especially in landscape. But I didn't have any ideas. Like, what is it? What is photography? Until 2010, the Facebook started. I didn't have any camera yet that time, but I just joined Facebook group, like photography Facebook group, landscaper Facebook group in Bali. Okay. I just like talk with them like, how a beautiful photo, what kind of camera do you use, the technique and everything. And then 1 year later, I asked my mom, hey, Mom, can I buy a camera? Then we went to a camera store. The first thing that I asked to the staff, the camera guy, the camera store guy, how can I make a subject blur to just look so blurry?
Okay.
It was just like, because I really want it. Like the Blu-ray, the bokeh, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
So not the subject blur. All of the subject.
No,
blurred.
the background blur.
Oh, okay. The background blur.
Yeah,
and the
this-
subject
this-
in
the
focus.
subject,
Got it.
like,
Okay. I was going to
focus,
say
get
that's a
focus.
weird request.
It was like, oh, you need to get like this lens. This one of 50 millimeters. I was like, Mom, can I buy 50 millimeters?
What camera was this at the time?
Oh, dude.
Can you remember?
550 Canon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a Canon guy. You're Sony.
I used
aren't
to.
you? Yeah. Sony.
Sony since
Sony ambassador,
2007, yeah. 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was when your love of. So basically, you learnt your first lessons in photography were on Facebook group.
Facebook.
Essentially.
Exactly.
That's interesting. I guess that's the new generation.
How about you? How did you start it?
I can't really remember. I remember always having a camera in my hand, even when I was a young boy going on family holidays. The Kodak disposable cameras.
Yeah, I know.
And just snap away, not knowing anything, obviously. And you couldn't do anything with those apart from just snap away. And then Polaroids and dabbled in film a little bit when no idea what I was doing at all. I just liked the toys.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. We tried kind of landscape, wildlife, and just experimenting.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I started taking photos of people and understanding the concept of light and how that would affect how a person looked. And I was hooked. That was it.
That's awesome.
That was it. And I was like, okay, I'm either got a little eye for this or I'm just really interested in it, or both. And that was it. And I just started. Similar to you, I didn't use Facebook. I still don't. I just don't like it. But I went on a couple of workshops. YouTube, Google, Instagram. And then I was so stubborn against social media at the time. This was 2012 maybe.
2012.
Yeah. When social media was really starting to boom. I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. Obviously now I wish I'd got on it earlier, but anyway. Yeah. So fast forward to today, so 12 years later almost, what was the path? What was the process? So from kind of learning it and getting better at it, then what happened? Did you go to school? Did you go freelancing? Or, I mean, you must have been still young at that time. 2010, you would have been 11. No, 10.
2010? No, actually.
20. You would have been 20. 15.
16.
Oh my God, what's wrong with my maths? 50. You were born in 95. 2010 minus 95 is 15. Okay, 15. So you were still at school then, I presume?
Yeah, high school.
Okay, then
High
what happened?
school. I just asked my friends, like, hey, do you need a camera guy? I can take photos of you. Most of them, they were couples.
Okay.
And the fun fact is I actually did a project for my school. Every year we have yearbook. Yep. Yeah, before we graduated. So there are some best couples on the book, So I took photos of all of them. And apparently a few years later they all broke up. All of them, literally.
Because of your photo?
Yeah, probably. It's a curse.
No, it's high school. No, not many people stay together from high school.
Yeah, I know.
I think I know 2 couples that were together from high school.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, yeah.
Cool.
So you actually started. That was your first kind of photography experience, taking photos of people.
Exactly. Yeah, I used to take a lot of portraits before, but then I know that time I don't want to be a photographer.
Okay.
At the time. Because my parents, the classic Asian parents, they want me to go to science,
law, medicine,
doctor, a pilot, like you.
No.
But you know what? I said to them, okay, I'll just follow whatever they say. I said yes to them. Then I went to engineering university in Bandung, West Java. That's actually one of the best university in Indonesia. But just 1 year, I just feel this is not the thing that I'm passionate about. Like every day I read, like I need to study, like with all the calculus, the physics, math.
Oh my goodness.
But I was like, no, this is the thing. I don't want to be like this, Only 1 year, and I said to my parents, I don't want to go to school anymore back here. And then I said to them, I want to go to school of photography, just to study photography, like very specific in photography. I want to be an artist. I said that to them. They said like, whatever.
Were they okay with it? Did they support you? Or?
Not really, actually.
Okay,
at that time,
like it,
only my mom. My dad, like, he didn't talk to me.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And then, like,
that's a common reaction.
Exactly. But 2 years later, I prove it. I can pay my school bills with my own money. Doing like I did freelance jobs, and then started on social media. Then But nowadays, I think because my main focus is travel photography, like a landscape, building, lifestyles. I think I've done like any kind of technique. So like now I'm more into, like I said, like content creator, like get a brand want to work with me, then I will like visualize like their commercial ads or commercial projects, something like that.
So tell us how that process works. I mean, there'll be a lot of people watching and listening and go, well, how do I get to that point? I want to create content. I want to work with brands. First of all, what's your process of getting partnerships with brands? Yeah. And then we'll get on to the second question later, but how, once you get that partnership, then what is your personal kind of workflow with those kind of content, that pieces of content that they will need to create?
Yeah, I think because at that time when I started the social media, I know like I love colorful photos. So I created like nowadays they call it presets, but I prefer saying like as an adjustment. So I have like a specific adjustment, like very, very colorful, vibrant pastels, but like after that, I just started posting it on social media. And then like I think one of my first clients was Omnia.
Omnia as in the nightclub?
The nightclub, yeah. Okay. In Bali, they open it. Mm-hmm. But now they change it to Salvaya. Okay. If you notice, like their colors is like pastel blue. Yeah. Like the ocean colors. Yeah. Their branding colors. They contact me. They want to create like a marketing campaign, like a sneak peek before they open it. Okay. So I took a lot of photos, like lifestyle, landscapes, any kind of photos that related to Uluwatu. That's the place they're going to build the club.
When is that meant to be finished then?
I think like 1 year, but I worked with them like almost like 4 months, I guess, the beginning. Okay. Yeah. Something like that.
So they contacted you?
Yeah, most of my clients actually, they contact me.
Because why? That you have a good enough following on social media that...
I think because my colors, my editing colors.
But how do you share those colors? How do you market? What is your marketing process?
Yeah.
Or how do you, what's the word I'm looking for? How do you publicize that style? Do you just let people look at your Instagram account? Or is it a website thing? Or is it another platform?
Yeah, the fun fact is I just had my website like 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago. 2019 actually. So before that, how did they find me? Most of them, they just say it because of Instagram. Put like hashtags. I work with like brand, and it's like word of mouth. Yep. From one marketing team, they have like in this kind of industry, they have related relations. So like another like hotels, like brands, and then they just like contact me.
So how How did that level of success, we say, on social? You've got over 200,000 followers on Instagram. I mean, there's something to be said for the amount of time you've been on Instagram and growing with it, but also adapting and working very hard at it, I'm sure. Is there a secret to that success, or is there a tip that you could give people for the content creation side of it, or the strategy?
Yeah, true. It's very, very basic secret, actually. It's not a secret anymore,
That's
actually.
my type of secret. Basic. I like it.
It's not a secret, actually. It's just like a reminder, you know? Because like sometimes if you forgot about it, just keep doing what you love and persistence. That's it, actually. So like whatever goes in the future on you, your page, your creativity, we're a human being, you know? Like sometimes we get like bored. We feel like we don't want to do anything. But just remember, like, you love this job. This is the thing that you can do in this world. You trust in yourself that you can get money from this passion, then just do it. Because this is social media. If you don't work hard, like for me, I used to like posting like 3 times a day back in 2014.
My goodness me.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
3 times a day for like, I think like few months. And then started posting to once a day. Every day I edit photos, or I re-edit the photos again. In like 1 week, when I was younger, 1 week, I could go to places in Bali for like 5 times in a week just to do sunrise, and then at 4 or 5 p.m. I go to the beach for sunset. So like every day, so I collect all the photos. I edit it to make it pastel. So like people know me as this Wahyu. Oh yeah, I know these photos. Must be Wahyu, because the editing adjustment is like pastel, colorful, vibrant.
Do you sell those presets or the adjustments?
I used to.
Used to, not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
Why not?
Why not? Because I want to make something bigger. Yeah.
Explain what? Can you tell us? What are you gonna make that's bigger?
Yeah, I'm still in the process though. I'm making an app.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the combination of Pinterest, Google Maps, Masterclass, and also Lightroom.
Wow.
So all in one. So you open the app, you have my preset, my partner's preset as well. I'm teamed up with a friend of mine from Jakarta.
Okay.
And then you scroll down, we have Masterclass for all the creativity stuff. You know, like how to create your own colors, how to edit, something like that. And then we have Google Maps. So if you travel to certain places, let's say you want to travel to Bali, we have like all the spots for photographers or for the content creators. Yeah,
that's really valuable. Yeah. Really valuable, certainly for the travel photography niche. But for anyone, you know, including me, it's... I know there are apps out there that do those types of things, but they, from what I've come across, they're not that user friendly, essentially. But yeah, that would definitely sell. I mean, having, you know, just typing a location, having those spots there in front. Okay, that's a good location. Even if you don't want to do the same location as other people, but it's a good idea. You can always have a different twist on it, right?
True.
That's exciting.
Yeah, we'll see.
When do you think it will be finished?
We'll see. Like probably next year.
Okay.
It's a long process. You know, like in this industry, you know, for me, like becoming as a photographer is not enough. Because like nowadays, like millions of photographers, people can say, oh, I'm a photographer. Even though they just like learn like less than a month without any experience, they can say, like, I'm a photographer, and then selling like their service.
Be a photographer with this.
I don't know. Smartphone photographer.
Everyone's got a camera in the house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like what I can do more to help people, you know, like to also like to improving myself as a creative person, like doing photography or learning public speaking, you know, like making relations with people, and then doing business, you know, something to expand my potential. Yeah.
Interesting. A couple of things I did want to touch on before we move on was one of my first introductions to you was your Sony ambassador.
Yep.
Right. What tell people exactly what that means and what that involves from you in terms of photography.
Yeah, yeah. Becoming an ambassador or content creator out of Sony Alpha photographers is, I would say, it's a responsibility, to like prove it that this product works on my photos, to prove it to people that this product is good. It's also like has like many advantage if you're using this product, to deliver the message from the client to the audience. That's the point for me. But then like, of course, I need to having fun with the camera, the stuff, the lenses, what I can create photos, to make, of course, first my client happy with the result, to make like outstanding photos, and also again deliver the key message to the audience. I think that's all actually.
Do they brief you on all of that, or do they they do?
Yeah,
that's a regular structured thing. Is it?
Of course. Okay. Because the client they pay.
Oh, they do. They pay, right?
Yeah.
This is not a free thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the thing.
So, and how, if people are aspiring to become an ambassador of their chosen manufacturer, how would you suggest they go about doing that? Just create good stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just create good stuff, making connections. This is not a secret, actually. It's just a thing that I want to say. Nowadays, I'm telling you, the brand, no matter how good you taking photos, the brand nowadays is looking for numbers. That's the other thing.
Specific numbers, tell me. Like what? Followers?
The followers.
Reach?
Followers, reach, and niche. Like you as a photographer, like you taking portraits. Of course, your audience is waiting for your portrait photos on Instagram, right? But like,
I hope so.
Yeah, of course. But then they could choose you, but they have, of course, another options, right? Because like you're not the only one portrait photographers in this world.
Uh-huh.
If they choose you, they need to know the reach, because you're not only a photographer, not only the ambassador, but also like they give you the product, they give you money. Is it valuable or not? That's the brand thoughts, nowadays. But again, like some brands, they don't really look at your impressions. They don't really look at your likes. They know you have good stuff. They know you have potential. You're a storyteller on your Instagram, to promote the brand. They will choose you. Depends on the client.
But you just said they care about numbers only.
Yeah, they care about numbers, but some of the brands, not
some brands, a few brands don't care. Okay, interesting.
Very interesting.
It is interesting. It's something that I would like to do. I'd like to represent a brand that I love, and I know I've spoken to a few photographers who work with brands and or even follow some people that work with brands, and a lot of them, some go where the market goes. Yeah. Some will take any, obviously when you're first starting out, if you have no money, you're going to accept pretty much every brand deal. Sure. But once you're established and you're able to select a little bit more or get brands on retainers or something like that, that's obviously a luxury to have. And so then you can kind of choose the brands that you feel you are most close to and are big fans of, and then obviously you can have a better relationship. Sure. But that's something I think that is maybe overlooked as photographers and part of a really clever business strategy.
True.
Because that gives you purpose as well. Yeah. It gives you an accountability. It gives you money, hopefully. Yeah. And stable money as well, because that's really important. As let's say a freelance photographer, you're living from one meal to the next a lot of the time, or at least 1 month to the next, not knowing where the next income is coming in, constantly pitching or unless you're top of your game like yourself, where you've got, probably a waiting list of people who want to work with you, right? So it's really interesting to hear that. And it's nice to get an insight as to how you can go about either being an ambassador for someone or at least having a long-term partnership with a brand.
Yeah. I have a really interesting story, actually. I work with tourism of Western Australia in July, like this year. And then I asked the person, which is my friend, now we become very good friends, me and the client. I asked her, why you choose us? So they pick up like 3 names, including me. One is also fashion photographers, like travel and fashion photographers. She works in for like big fashion magazines, international magazine and Indonesian magazines. The other one is actress and model. And then she told me, that's the reason why I say that, like, I know numbers is important, but for me, I look for content creators or photographers or KOL, key opinion leader, we call it key opinion leader Indonesia. The one not only posting good pictures, but also like more into storytelling.
Define storytelling. I mean, it's a debatable definition, I guess. Certainly photographers, whether we can actually tell effective stories just through images, or maybe video is a bit more
interactive, or captions,
easier to tell stories, captions. So when you say storytelling, KOLs are storytelling, what would attract you? How do they tell that story that makes you go, oh, okay, I'm interested in this?
As simple as you just tell the story behind the photos from your perspective.
Okay.
Like your experience, how do you like that place? Like when you post a photo, like how do you feel it about the photo, the subject, the object, the experience, how you get the photo, or like after that, like if you have a relationship with the human, the people that you took the photos, like something like that. I know picture tells million of story, but some people, they love to hear your story, like behind.
Some people, as in individual people, who your audience is, or are you talking about brands and companies?
First of all, of course, from your audience, your followers, but then the company, they will say it like, oh, this Wahyu is a good photographer, but Wahyu also like tell stories. I think, and we currently have a campaign about, like probably like about destinations or about the app, the features or commercial things, but they want not only a good visual, but also like telling the stories behind to deliver the message of the campaign, something like that.
So usually guests on this podcast, I ask them to choose their favorite photo and maybe a favorite photo of someone else's. So this might be a good opportunity for you to bring out one of your favorite photos and tell us the story. Give us some storytelling behind that photo.
Of course.
Do we find it on your phone? We'll bring it up on screen, but if you want to pull it up.
Do you want me to show you my photos first, or
your favorite photo of your own?
Mine first, then
and tell us the story behind it.
Yeah, this one actually the one that you like it.
Wow, yeah, let's have a look. It's amazing. Yeah, that's got your colors for sure.
They are like some of my favorite shots actually, but I love that one. Back then, drone shot before they restrict the drone, and that was my birthday. Okay,
tell us the story behind it. How you got that shot and what you were thinking.
Such a dream,
Sorry, where is it first? Explain. We're pulling it up on screen, but explain kind of where it is and what it is.
It's at we call it Ijen. Mount Ijen has a crater.
Yep.
What makes this special? Because it was on my birthday with my good friends. Also, like my personal thing is, that was my last time I enjoy hiking with friends, actually, because like nowadays when I do like hiking, trekking, is for like brand commercial, need to shoot. This was in 2017, my birthday, and then I still remember like every single part of it. We took a bus, local bus. I didn't have money back then, so we took a local bus with like some locals, a very bad bus. And then we just pass the harbor, and then we slept on like a small tent. Then we hike. I flew my drone. That time I got like one of the most beautiful mornings. I still remember. It's like pinkish, the colors just vibrant. Then not many people there. The hike, no drama at all. Usually I get drama when I travel.
Usually something goes wrong. Or
I know,
something.
right? More like about my personal stories when I took that photo.
Yeah.
It's just like the moment that I get a good pictures on my birthday with my good friends, and the nature, the mother of nature, just want to give a gift.
Yeah, give back.
I know, for me.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice shot, man. It's really, really gorgeous.
Thank you.
When you talk about storytelling, then, how would you tell that story? I mean, we're talking face to face, obviously, but if you're posting that on Instagram, what's your advice to people? Like, okay, I've got one image.
Yeah.
Maybe you've got some iPhone BTS stuff that, if you're hiking with friends, you've got some stuff that you could maybe attach to that to add a little bit of context.
Yeah.
But then are you just relying on the caption, or would you then talk to camera? How are you going to kind of, you're going to add depth to that story, and how are you going to tell that story if we're just talking one image?
One image through caption, and also like on Instagram story.
On stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I go to a place now, like recently, I just like post like random raw files of footage, telling the story, about this place, the food, the people. When I was in Japan, I have like so many stories, so I just keep posting it, but not just like a random. I also like add caption on it, so people could feel it, because I love writing.
Oh, you do?
I love writing.
So, I mean, I can imagine you've probably always got your phone in your hand.
Yeah.
Right. So that is a habit, I think, that is, it's either good or bad depending on which side of the fence you sit on. But if you're a photographer, if you're a content creator, it can only be a good thing. You can get used to just getting content with everything. I can't believe you're not getting a story of this as we talk.
I will. Yeah. At that time, actually, I was thinking about that too. Like I did like story and then take photos, and then like also like fly my drone. Like, oh damn, I don't get time to just enjoy, relax a little bit. But I just got the moment, just like snap like one random pictures, not thinking about the angle, just for my Instagram stories, and then like because probably I get used to it, like the angle and everything for lifestyle or a landscape travel photos. So it's not hard for me to find a good angle and then take photos and then done. Then I enjoy it.
So, I mean, I'm so interested in the storytelling aspect of still images, because it's a lot more difficult because you're talking about one still image. Obviously, you can add series, you can add video content behind those images, you can add captions, you can add, but it's one of photography books, like whether they have captions or not.
Yep.
You can either have a series which tells a story in itself and leaves it up to the viewer to almost curate that story for themselves, or you can actually write stuff, etc. I mean, there are lots of possibilities, but we're thinking of a single still image. How, is it the same with corporate clients and brands? Do you focus a lot on that storytelling, or do you let the aesthetics do the work, the colors and the style, and just, because I know you talked about, okay, storytelling is important for everyone, and especially individuals and the audience that you have. But do you focus a lot on that with your corporate partners as well? Yeah,
I do. But usually if I do like as a content creator, we're talking about a content creating. Usually the clients, they know already like my style, like through, caption, I tell a story. Through my photos, I'm trying to give like the best images, to post to promote their campaign, to promote their brand. But if you're talking about commercial photo shoot, it's quite hard. So like what I ask my client, what do you want me to photograph? Like, what's the goal of this campaign? You know, if we're talking about the like product stuff or about promotion of the camera or anything, you know, they want like this, and then I usually like give them timeline.
Yeah.
You know, just mood board, timeline, everything like this until they approved. Then I go shoot, and then I give them the photos. Usually, like they okay with that. If they have like something to tell, like, oh, I want like this. Can you re-edit? But usually they don't want. Usually they don't ask me to retake, but just like small adjustment, you know.
Yeah, a lot of revisions.
Yeah.
So what is this is a question from
Yeah.
previous guest I had on the
Yeah.
podcast, and I'm going to ask you at the end of the chat to write down one of your questions for the next guest. But this is probably an appropriate time to ask you, you know, your number one tip for dealing with commercial clients in a photography aspect, or even content creation. If you were to pass on one tip, and it's difficult because there's a lot that goes into it, and you have different clients with different needs, etc. But you know, if people who are wanting to start off in that space, what would be the number one piece of advice that you could give?
Lower your ego.
Lower your ego.
Yeah.
I love it. Have you learned that through experience, or have you? Okay.
Experience, because they pay us. That's the thing. They're our client. They pay us. They have the money. So they pay us to do something that they want.
Can you give me an example or a story of when that happened to you? If you learned it through experience. You don't have to answer. It's okay. We'll all laugh at you. No? Okay.
I can give an explain.
Go then.
I can give an explain. Yeah, like because I understand we are such an artist, you know. We have our own ego. We have our own style. We have our own, you know, like editing. We want like we know like we have our own potential. Like we want to create like a better or like a best image, you know. But again, they are our clients. Like sometimes like they don't want our ideas, so we need to create another ideas. They reject again, so I need to create another mood board again, you know. Like for commercial, I do like more like fashion stuff to promoting the brand. It's hard to like the hardest thing is to the preparation. On the day that we shoot, everything is fine. It's very easy. The hardest thing is to dealing with the team and also to dealing with the clients.
Yeah.
That's so hard, man. Because like the client wants, let's say, my latest campaign with a brand is about the wellness, well-being, you know, like yoga thing. So they just like give like a very general keyword. I want like a little bit of Balinese touch on the costume. I want outdoor. And that's it. The message is just wellness, well-being, meditation, you know. So the hardest thing is in Bali, we have a lot of like fashion stylists, fashion designers, but to fit what clients wants is quite hard. Also because they have their own schedule, they have their own like busy time, you know, very busy. Also to fit, contact the model to give their options. If they don't like it, you need to find another like model again. I have my assistant, but also like this is not the only project that I'm doing, you know. I have business, I have another campaign, you know. That's the thing. And also like sometimes like the timeline is very, very tight. It's very stressful.
Why does anyone want to do this? Are you a structured kind of guy with that? So you kind of, it sounds like you are, because just the way you're talking. You need a very specific brief. You need very specific goals, strict timeline, number of revisions, maximum number of revisions, all this kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's really me.
Yeah, it's interesting how different photographers just do it different ways. I'm definitely more of that kind of. Well, I need to know what I'm working with.
Yeah.
What are my expectations? If my expectations aren't managed, then it's going to lead to frustrations or taking up too much time or not enough time or whatever it is, or just disappointment, right? So I need to have it very clear in both the client and my mind what is expected of both of us here.
True.
Yeah.
Because I don't, like they pay us, so we don't. I'm like pleasure people. I want to make people happy, with my own art, and that's kind of hard because like I know again like I'm being friends with some of my clients, and they also like talk to me about their experience working with other photographers, and like the unique thing, another interesting story is somehow they always looking for another photographers, but at the end of the day they just like text me, "Oh, can you just do this project?" And most of my clients, they are in Jakarta, not in Bali.
Okay.
So like there's so many photographers in Jakarta, but they still like want me to do the project
because the other photographers are probably difficult.
Probably difficult, probably
dicks,
like
ego
or like the communication, the result.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
So, the communication wise, I mean, first of all, really appreciate you doing this podcast in English. I mean, it's great. I want to have more local photographers on, but probably not until I learn Bahasa a bit more. My Bahasa is very basic at the moment. So next year, that's going to be completed for sure. But how is Indonesia? How is the photography world here? Bali, Indonesia. How is it different to the rest of the world, if anything?
I would say the culture. The culture.
Specifically?
Like the Balinese culture. So the potential project most of photographers in Bali that they are doing is mostly like wedding stuff. Like engagement, because in Bali we don't have much company.
Yeah.
Like most of them they located in Jakarta. So there are not much options. Of course, we have a hotel or resort or food photography, interior, exterior photography, portraits as well, fashion as well. But for bigger chance, in Jakarta. So in Bali, it's still like growing right now, which is I'm happy to see like more opportunities now. Bali has to offer,
But so compared to the rest of the world, the culture is very different. But how does that affect photography compared to, let's say, in the US or in Europe?
I would say like nowadays more into like selling images to like the photo stocks, because the culture is very like unique, like the like everything, So like if you aiming for get money for from photography, and you love like taking photos of the culture, the tradition in Bali, the rituals, like there's so many things to explore actually for human interest. But of course you can sell it to the magazine, but also the photo stocks, like image stock online.
Stock images is an interesting one and something I haven't explored yet. Do you sell a lot of your images as
not
stock?
yet. How are you?
No,
not
no.
yet.
I mean, it's been on my photography to-do list for a long time.
Yeah.
But it seems to be, I think there seems to be a bit of work to set it up. I know there are agencies and there are middlemen that can do a lot of it for you. I just don't see the bang for buck. I don't see the value in it. Yeah, I know there's value there. Yeah. I'm just being lazy. I've just got to add that to the business portfolio and do it. And I know a lot of guys make not loads of money, but they make a nice bit of pocket money that can bring a consistent stream of income through every month. So Yeah.
What's your dream becoming a photographer, man?
Bloody hell! What's my dream?
Yeah, like your goal in photography.
That's a good question. Can we cut there? My dream in photography is to be. I have a couple. I mean, my main goal is to be a valued and well-respected artist.
Yeah.
And when I say well-respected, I mean amongst peers. So, you know, if people say my name, photographers and other artists will go, yeah, he's legit.
Yeah.
He's good at what he does.
Yeah.
That means a lot to me. I think that provides a lot of I don't know, self-value and purpose.
Yeah.
I'm not financially driven by it. So I you know, my goal is not to make loads of money from it, but my goal is to make a sustainable income from it. Yeah. Where I don't need to be doing other you know, careers or other things outside of it. But in that, I want it to be what I want to do in the way I want to do it. So it's interesting hearing you talk about how you work with clients. Yeah. I don't want to get to a stage where I have to accept loads of jobs that I don't really want to do. Yeah. If I have to do that, then I will, you know, probably take a step back. Because I'm very privileged. I'm very fortunate to be in a position where I have another job that I can rely on at the moment. Yeah. So yeah, I have kind of those specific goals. And I think that the main goal of that respect and that peer valuation, I think that's difficult to substantiate. It's not tangible, right? It's difficult to say, and I don't know if I'll ever get there. But I definitely want to be thought of as an artist rather than just a photographer. Because I think there's so much more to the genre of art than there is to photography. I mean, you say photographer to most people and they think you're a wedding photographer, or you're a family photographer, or you're a product photographer, or you're a landscape photographer, or something that is not necessarily, I guess, your personal kind of fine art take on images. So I don't know where I'm going with what I'm saying, but I think that there's that larger goal there that I want to be able to be respected in the field. It's funny because I've written those big goals so many times, and I guess I can't recite it word for word, but you know, my number one goal as a photographer within the next 5 years is to be a number one environmental portraiture artist in the world. You know, it's a big dream, and it's a huge goal. But you know, I feel like you have to have something that's so far up there that you continue working towards. And you know, what I mean by the number one is you know, you think environmental portraiture and you think cultures, you know, and you think Matt Jacob as photographer. Like, I think Joey L, who's in my mind the best photographer in the world, but he's certainly the best environmental portraiture artist who documents you know, incredible cultures in just such a beautiful way, whether it's the story he's telling, the series he puts together, just the aesthetics of the image. So yeah, that's my niche. That's what I really love to do. To put it bluntly, I want to be able to choose what I do and when. And so in order to do that, I have to gain success through what I do as a photographer. And so having that kind of number one status and wanting to be respected by fellow artists means a lot to me, because I think that just gives purpose. It gives a sense of self-actualization. You know, at the top of the hierarchy, you want to feel like you're making a difference. So you're getting through to people. You're inspiring people. You're just giving people joy. You know, all of that goes into being the best at what you do. It goes into just being good as well. But if you're the best, that's just gonna come with it. So, you know, further to that, I want to give back. I want to be able to educate, but educate in my way, and be able to share stories. You know, as you know, I'm really into documenting cultures, right? And through the images and through series of images. So that's big for me, like going to see cultures around the world and documenting them in my own style. All of that kind of goes into, you know, being that best environmental portrait artist in the world. And all of this comes into it, you know, the studio, all of the other peripheral stuff in podcasts and social media and networks and brands and all of that kind of stuff is great, bringing in the money and stuff. But it's really the art for me that can mean so much to me and to other people. So, you know, I'm coming at it from a completely different place to a 20-year-old that's starting out, wanting to make a career out of it, and essentially is financially driven to do that, certainly initially, because you have to live, right? You have to survive. You got to put food on the table. So I'm not coming from that place. So I'm able to some respect to be a little bit more specific, a little bit picky about kind of how I want to attack this. And I'm still figuring it out. You know, I definitely don't have all the answers, and I still have a long way to go. But I think that number one, that top goal, kind of looks after everything else. You know, all of the tactics and all of the sub goals that go underneath that. I hope that answered your question. I'm not sure. It's kind of a long answer. But sorry.
Well, that's awesome. You know, like I love hearing your stories as well. You know, and actually your decision to move to Indonesia, especially Bali, is a good start to documenting all your visions. You know, because in Indonesia there's so many things actually to explore for photographers, especially photographers like you. You know.
Yeah, that was one of the main reasons we moved here. Fortunately, my wife is amazing and very flexible and fully supportive. When we had the opportunity to move, Indonesia was always at the top of my list. You know, I didn't always tell my wife that, but I knew, because I'd done a lot of traveling here before. I'd just always been blown away with this country. And Bali, it was an obvious choice for us to come to and set up base. But yeah, the number of languages here, there's so many different subcultures, religions, different cohorts and sections of people that I probably won't be able to meet and experience all of them, right? There are so many experiences to be had just in my field of photography, let alone or just the geography and the experiences to be had outside of photography. So yeah, it was an easy decision, and it had been on my mind for years. Like, you know, how can I facilitate a move to Indonesia where all of this stuff is on my doorstep? It's just a domestic flight away, or it's in Bali. You know, there's so many things in Bali that I'm so excited to go out and capture. Whether it's, you know, the religious side of things and the ceremonial side of things, or the lifestyle way of things, and the agricultural practices and the daily life of the Balinese. So yeah, it's, you know, I used to be really impatient, and I want to touch on that with photography and how important patience is. But you know, I wanted to, I got to do this now and get this. But actually now I'm the opposite. It's like, no, I have a very, very clear strategy, and that helps when you have a niche, right? When you've figured out your style and you figured out, okay, this is what I like to do. This is what I'm good at. These are the aesthetics that I want to be known for, etc. Then you can kind of focus a little better and go, okay, this is what my next 12 weeks looks like. This is what my next 12 months. This is what I want to do in that time. So yeah, I mean, did you, when you first started out, was patience kind of, you seem like a very calm, patient man. What you were like when you first started may have been different, I don't know. But is that, you know, do you find yourself like, okay, I need to do this, or you know, I haven't done that, or I've got so many plans with the app. I mean, what a big project that is. Do you find yourself like, oh, come on, let's get this going? Or are you very patient with those kind of things?
You know, like, I'm just like a normal human being, you know, just like other people. Sometimes I get tired, bored, you know, when that, you know, that feeling just come up. I just feel like, okay, I need to get some rest first, and then like thinking what's next, because I feel like I have a lot of things in my mind, you know. I'm thinking about like, having a house, having a car, a family, or get married, but also like because I'm an artist, you know, like I want to have my own exhibition room or creative space for me, because one of my goals, if you have like your own goals, like every single artist in this world, they have their own goals, of course, you know, that what makes us, you know, keep alive, you know, as a human, you know, like, oh, I want to like this, I want to do this. But for me, like, I just want to see the world as much as I can. So like through this, you know, all the projects that I've done, work, my business, everything, like I save money for like when I get retired, I want to see the world as much as I can. And like taking photos of landscape, that's the thing, like the kind of photography that I loved the most. And then like just hanging on my creative space, invite people, like all my good friends, photographers, like creative people, you know, we talk, chit chat, you know, because I love like the connection, the communication, you know, through art. We can like discuss a lot of things, perspective, you know, about art. And then like I can inspire people, like what you say before, I can inspire people, and then I can't be a. It doesn't need to be the best photographer. I just want to be a good photographer for people who asked me about the photography stuff. You know, like being a mentor for them, like to teach them, to share my knowledge, my education through, you know, the university, through my experience, you know. And yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's at the core of most artists and photographers as well. Is like sparking that intrigue. So, you know, and that's what, you know, let's bring it back to iPhones and social media and stuff. But when you're scrolling through your feed, what makes you stop? You know, it's like, it's that intrigue, it's that curiosity.
Yeah, true.
And I think that is at the core of everything that we try and create, right? It's like, you know, storytelling, okay, whatever, like, can you really tell a story? Like how, you know, that's, I was saying to one of the other guests, like that's what a movie is between 1 and 2 hours long for a reason, right? It takes that long to tell a story. And even then you are, most of the time in a movie, you're taking a snapshot of that story. It's not a whole you know, story of someone's life or a family or an event or anything like that. Same with a book.
True.
Same with, you know, that's why there are collections of books. That's why there are series of these things, TV series. Like the story side of it, I think, is very important. There has to be a small part of that story that you're going to tell. But what is it about the image, the video, the content, whatever you're producing, that gives people intrigue, gives that curiosity? Go, oh, what? I want to know more about it. And exactly like you said, like if you had an exhibition or you had a gallery, like it's an artist's dream to be able to A, have that, but B, have people come in and B, you know, inquire about it, be curious about it. Go, hey, what is, tell me what this image is. Or you say to them, tell me what the image means to you. Or whatever you're going to discuss about it. So I think that's super important for all of us not to necessarily lose, you know, because you can get wrapped up in all of the business side of things, which is obviously important. But I think, you know, at the core of all of that passion and all of that hard work and all of that, you know, vision is that, you know, the desire to spark someone's curiosity. And
also like, just remember to make yourself happy first, you know, like from what you've been doing this all of time, you know. First, I create an art. It's not for gaining followers in the beginning, because I just like keep posting it, because became like I love seeing like in my feed, you know, like the colorful photos in the beginning. And then like that what I want to visualize, like the photos, the editing, the kind of editing, the pastel editing. make myself happy first, because I love editing,
Yeah.
adjustment and everything, and then from that I want to travel the world, take photos from every cool destinations in this world, and then to create adjustment like different one from other photographers, and then just hang on the wall. Then like people when see it, like they could feel it, the energy, they could feel it, the memory, the nostalgic moments.
Yep.
Like from my photography style, like, oh, they could even, I want them to feel it, and I want them to know like my personality behind the photos. Like, oh, this is really Wahyu, like you could tell like from the photos that I took, most of them like only have like a tiny person on it, or just simple like minimalist composition, or just the scenery, just so people could tell like, oh, Wahyu is an introvert. I love like travel alone by myself. I love to photograph like quiet moments, like in the morning, to give the perspective that our world is very beautiful, because not everyone could see it, not everyone could wake up in the morning, or people could miss the moments like the sunset, the sunrise, to remind them that, oh, our world is beautiful, we need to take care. And then from my art, like they also like know me as an artist, like, oh, why you have like this kind of personality through the photos. And when I see like certain artists, I do see like I just can read their personality.
Because I think, well, and I love the fact you say do what makes you happy. I say that to people all the time, like just do what makes you happy, and that will come through. People will see that in your work, whatever work you do. It doesn't have to be in the creative world. True. Do what makes you happy, because you will figure it out. As long as you do what you're doing, whether let's talk photography, if it's your specifics, if it's a style that you're not quite sure of, just do what comes naturally, what you're happy with. And if a lot of people don't like that, a lot of people don't like that. You will have some people that like it. Unless you're just really bad, which is another conversation altogether. Probably still some people will like it. But it's really, really good advice, and it's nice to hear you say that. What is it that makes you happy? I mean, you touched upon creating the images that you like to look at, obviously. You're not going to create images you don't like to look at. So the aesthetics is kind of a given. We understand that that's the first thing that we're taking on. But when you're thinking photography, what is it that makes you happy?
Makes me happy that the reason why I take photos, one of the reasons still doing this until now, and I don't give up, even though there are so many photographers and the algorithm on Instagram is fucked up, is just for myself. I took photos, landscape, travel moments, everything. I love it. I edit it. I enjoy the process of editing. And in the future, when I miss the place, when I miss the moment, I just need to reopen again the photos to just look at and like all the flashback, all the memories. That's it.
Cool.
Like having a good time. That's it. Because when we grow up, you're getting older, you're gonna miss you could miss the moments, and you could miss the people that got along with you at that moment. You cannot also redo. It happened already. So that's why the reason I just love taking photos. I don't do selfie much.
I love it. It's really, really nice and a really refreshing viewpoint on photography. So thank you for sharing. Going kind of deeper into. We're talking photography specifically. I mean, there's probably many other conversations we talk about, kind of the business side of content creation and stuff. But I can tell your passion for photography is there throughout everything. What kind of, I guess, messages do you try and convey through images? And you talked a little bit about looking after the planet, enjoying experiences, and being grateful for what you have. Are those kind of what you would want to convey in your messages, or are you just specifically talking about stories, or how do you, what do you think about that when you're putting images together?
I think like everyone has their own purpose on taking photos, in creating images, in doing creative stuff. You just need to know what kind of creative process that you like. I don't like judge people. If they just love taking photos, just do it. If they don't like writing or storytelling, it's okay, no worries, because like that's how they enjoying the process. That's how they loved, like they just love doing that, like things. So like you just need to know what kind of stuff that you like the most, and then apply it. And then don't judge other people's work, or like feeling like you are like better than them or anything. Just like always being grateful for what you have done. And then just do collaboration with the more, not only creative people but outside of your circle. Like keep like good networking with people, a good relationship with people, because you never know what happened in the future. You could like photograph them, you could make good projects with them, good relations, good projects, good money. Never know, right? And then like the end, again, like do whatever you love. That's it, because that's like the goal of this life.
That's what life's about, isn't it?
Exactly.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy.
Do you have any people or photographers out there that give you that joy? Do you have any inspirations that you look up to still and go?
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of people.
I know.
You've got 200,000 followers. I'm sure most of them are inspired by you, and a lot will be inspired by what you're saying today. Are there, give me one maybe person that inspires
Only
you.
one.
Yeah. We don't have time to go through all 10.
Oh, that's hard though.
Okay, give me a couple. Just show me a couple on Instagram or
I have like some photographers or content that I loved.
Okay.
Till now, like I still remember them.
And do you shape your work on them, or do you?
Yeah, of course. There's a lot. The first one, I think everyone knows her. How about you? Could you describe happiness?
Could I describe happiness? Oh my goodness. I could tell you what makes me happy.
Yeah.
I mean, happiness is
for you.
Wow, bloody! I mean, how do you ever know when you're happy? It's an intangible. It's an emotion, and I think more than happiness is fulfillment. Like to know that you wake up one morning, you feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
That is for me more than happiness. I mean, happiness comes with that. Yeah. But to have a purpose. And to fulfill that purpose is everything. And I'm 40 years old now, so I'm kind of reevaluating my purpose in life, and it's my wife would say it's a midlife crisis, but it's not. Hopefully, it's not. But for the better. Yeah. And happiness for me, is having a camera in my hand and creating something that I feel is important. Yeah. Or that I'm proud of. Having my friends close, I've missed them a lot recently with COVID and not being able to travel back to certain countries, and people have moved away from where we were living, and we moved here, and it's like, having to kind of start a new life again. It's different. I miss my friends and family. And obviously I'm married and with 2 dogs and 3 cats who I absolutely would do anything for. And we don't have children, but we treat them like children. So they are just everything to us, and so all of that combined makes me happy. But in the photography space, just creating a body of work that I'm proud of. And I think going back to kind of your question about my goal in photography, having a legacy, looking back on a body of work in when you're 60, 70, 80 years old, and being proud of that. Going, look, I created this body of work, and it impacted so many people. It impacted me. It told a story along the way. Whatever it is, having that legacy that you can leave behind. That would make me happy. That would make me very happy.
That's cool.
But yeah, the small stuff like I like drinking, I like food, I like sport, I love music. Just always listening to music. Just having fun. Like I'm less bothered about. I'm very fortunate. I've lived the first half of my life having a good job, having a relatively stable income or a good income, and being able to support myself for future life. So, I'm less, I guess, focused on retirement, and I've never been that focused on retirement. I think life is for living now, and obviously you don't want to be reckless. You want to be responsible and make sure that if you make it retirement, you may live for retirement and forget about living your life and get cancer when you're 40. And it's like, well, what was I working so hard for and saving so hard for retirement? There's a balance there, obviously. Some people tip the balance, but so I'm less bothered about. I want to live life right now. I don't want to do anything I don't want to do, and that sounds really selfish, but I'm too old to be told what to do these days. Obviously, if it doesn't, I've got to make sure it doesn't impact others in a negative way. So, don't do anything nasty, illegal, or with hate kind of thing. Respect everyone. But if I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. That impacts my happiness a lot, because it's the time, it's the I guess that's what happens when you get to 40. You're like, okay, actually, I'm kind of midway through life. When you're 20, 25, 30, even 35, you're like, I still have time. I've still got time to do the things I want to do. I've still got time to get healthy if I'm not healthy, or be healthier. I've still got time to save. I've still got time, I still got time to travel the world. Hey, there could be a bigger COVID around the corner. We could be locked down for 5 years. You never know. It's going to happen. It will definitely happen. Whether it happens in 50 years or 5 years, we don't know. So, I mean, I'm a big advocate of living life now, responsibly, obviously. But yeah, that's what makes me happy. If you get an opportunity, say yes. So, anyway, that's me. Inspiration. Sorry.
Inspiration.
We're getting sidetracked. All these questions that I'm not prepared for.
I'm pretty sure you know her.
Oh, yes. Oh, she's amazing. Hello, Millie. Hello, Millie.
Hello, Millie.
Her stuff is incredible. Is she in Bali?
No, she's Australian.
Okay.
She's Australian.
1.3 million followers.
Crazy, isn't it?
I mean, she deserves every one of them. But her stuff is amazing. She's doing well with NFTs as well, I believe.
Yeah, you know what? My color inspiration is actually came from her.
Okay.
Because I know if you scroll down till the end of the page, bottom, you will find.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Because she's got 1,561 posts. We'll be here for the next 2 hours. But I can see that in her work and your work.
It's very dreamy. She even could tell a story behind all the landscape photos and herself as well. I could tell she's kind of introvert and but also she's very creative in creating images. Even though there's so many photographers out there, but she's trying to find different angle and perspective in every destination. So
very clean
as well.
Very clean images, and I love that look as well.
Very minimalist.
She's in a lot of them. She obviously is her own model for a lot of them, which is great. But also provides that kind of, a lot of her shots are from behind her looking out, so it provides that kind of human aspect to it, which I love.
It's like her diary,
Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. Amazing. Yeah, she's special.
How about you?
Oh my God, you're asking me a lot of. Well, I have a few, but my one that stands above all others is Joey L. If you don't know his work, he and I kind of love the fact that he's just kind of stopped Instagram. He doesn't need it. He is just an artist. He's environmental portraiture. So you can look through some of it. Scroll down. A lot of his old stuff. I first got introduced to him by my friend And
Have you met him before?
Joey L?
Yeah.
No,
Not yet.
it'd be my dream. I don't know what I'd say. I'd just be like, teach me. I've spoken to him on Twitter. I've sent DMs and he's replied to me, which I'm eternally grateful for. And you'll see with a lot of my work, it's similar style. And I learned his lighting techniques, a while ago, 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. And that's really when I started to kind of move away from natural light and starting to use artificial light outside. So he was kind of the first proponent of using studio lighting in the field. Yeah. Just one light, one softbox, and just to add a tiny little punch to the subject or to the background, whatever it is. And I really loved that idea of moving from a controlled environment in the studio, learning your techniques here, being creative, and moving them into the field outside. He's amazing.
He is amazing. He's totally amazing.
Special.
This is actually my dream, to photograph all the local people in Varanasi, India.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. His style is different, or was different. It still is different. I don't see many other artists using the same techniques or doing this. And his style has evolved as well. And his latest collection is not on Instagram. He's mainly Twitter now,
really?
And books. He's just released a new photo book. You've got to go and check out his Ethiopia work. So he went to Ethiopia, about 13 years, probably 14 years now, for the first time when he was a young photographer. And he took some photos there. And even they're timeless. Like even looking back at his images 14 years ago, just incredible. He had a different way of using his lighting. And since then, he's been going back to Ethiopia consistently. Maybe not every year, but every few years he's been going back. He's just had this love and connection with the country. And during COVID, he spent the whole time there. Ended up meeting his now wife, who's Ethiopian. Met her there. She's also an incredible artist. And just a couple of months ago, he finally finished his body of work in Ethiopia. It's basically 300 images over 13 years.
Wow!
It is mind blowing how good. And he released some of them as NFTs. Obviously, I couldn't afford them. They sold amazingly. He is, but I ordered his book. Yeah. And his book should be just arrived in time for Christmas. Cool. We're in December now for those who are watching it. So, I get really excited, as you can tell, talking about him. His work is one of those artists I look at and go, fucking hell, I am so far away from being as good as he is. But then you have to kind of take a step back and go, well, hang on, I'm different. Like I don't want to be exactly the same as him, because that's not creation. That's not, not
because
the way
you have your own style as well.
Yeah, like and that's important.
Photograph like a person, people also could be different.
Yeah. But the way it's not just the photos either. It's the way he immerses himself in that culture. He knows everything about the culture. I mean, obviously he spent 13 years. I'm talking any of the things he's photographed actually, not just Ethiopia. The Ethiopia thing is his biggest thing to date. So that's and most recent. So it's kind of appropriate to talk about that. But he gives his subjects so much time and respect, and he carries himself really well, and I think that's important, really, really important as an artist, as a photographer. If you're connecting with the general public, which unless you're keeping the images just for yourself, you're going to, then you have to carry yourself in a certain way. And I think some people do, some people don't. And I just really respect him for that, aside from the quality of his work. And I think that's what makes him my idol, I guess, in the photography world.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's cool. I'd love to meet him one day. Jerry, if you ever watch this, call me. You don't have my number, I'll send you my number. Okay, that's mate, cool. We're getting close to your hard stop.
Yep.
I'm gonna kind of finish with one question that's I guess a bit of a curveball. which I usually kind of choose a question with each guest that's nothing to do with photography, that they're not prepared for.
Oh,
so
right. I'm ready.
What do you value most in a friendship?
Value most of friendship? Trust.
Trust with everything.
Yeah. And loyal.
Yeah, I guess they kind of go together,
Yeah.
don't they?
True.
Have you had bad experiences?
Oh man, a lot.
Yeah. It's easy to get burned.
Dude, I'm Gemini, you know. Gemini could be very, very friendly to everyone, but very also picky to being friends with someone else.
Okay.
But once Gemini could trust a person, like they will give everything to that person, especially friend.
How many
friendship.
how many good friends do you have? How many could you call, okay, they are my good friends?
I would say not a good friends of family because
Yep, family aside.
Yeah.
Let's not
Yeah,
talk about
yeah.
family.
1, 2,
He's literally counting them on his hands.
1,
Jeremy,
2, 3.
Matt, Chris.
Only 3.
3. Yeah, that's a good
And
number.
also at that, of this person, only 3% that I will invite to my wedding. 3 plus 1, their partner.
Okay, so we can say 3 plus 1, your bride. You got to have the bride there. Interesting. Well, thank you for being so honest. There's plenty more I'm sure we could talk about.
Yeah.
We have other stuff that we have to get on with, but thank you for coming today.
Dude, thank you for
It's been an absolute pleasure.
for inviting me, dude. It was-
We'll get you on again for sure. And feel free to obviously use the studio
Got it.
anytime you want.
yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Cheers.
Cheers.